Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. As you can see by the title, I have to be completely honest with you. If this is shaky at the moment, it's because of the pure excitement. I'm losing it a little bit. I am about to go see the new Scream movie, and I'm about to see it early thanks to Paramount. And I'll get to that later. You'll see a video later in the week as to why. I feel extremely lucky and extremely nervous. I have high hopes. You have all probably, hopefully, seen my ranking by now. You know I'm a big fan. I'm wearing my lucky shirt, which is Pet Sematary, but it is my lucky shirt, and I do have really high hopes. Maybe I shouldn't have them too high. I have high hopes for Scream 2022. I keep calling it Scream 5, but technically it's just called Scream. So, the film is co-directed, so it's the same directors who did Ready or Not, and they also did segments on VHS and Southbound. It's gonna be really interesting to see what happens without Wes Craven, and this is the huge thing a lot of the community is coming together or falling apart over. We can't wait to find out if it's gonna have the same feel or what the heck's gonna happen. Of course, the trailer came out a little while ago, and I did watch it. Usually I don't watch trailers, but I've heard it's meant to be intentionally misleading, and I really don't think it showed too much. I'm just very excited to see what happens, how it happens, the tone, the vibe, and bring it to you spoiler free. I will not be spoiling anything about this film for you because I know it's such a special piece of cinema for a lot of people, and of course I don't want to ruin it. So Scream, if you didn't know, this is the 5th Scream in the series, and this is the only one without the original director, Wes Craven, who passed away in the last decade. So this one, all we know is it follows a new generation. We have a lot of new characters in this film that weren't in any previous ones. So it's kind of like how in Scream 4 they had a new generation, and then they also have the old cast that comes in and helps them. So do with that what you will. I have no idea how it's gonna happen, but all I know is it's gonna be meta in like a whole new way. I know that they're gonna do something very tricky and very strange to make it all come together. They have to. We've had, the original, we've had the, talking about the sequel and meta sequels. They've talked about the trilogy. They've done the Scream-make, remake, and which isn't a remake because it's number 4. And now it is kind of might be the reboot. We will see. I am so excited. I'm so excited to see the moment when Gale Weathers is on screen with Dewey. I don't know what's going on with their relationship, so I'm excited to see that. I'm just beaming, to be honest, and I'm very excited to go to this special screening. I'm actually seeing this before it is premiered in my state, so I'm going to a special screening where it's just me and 2 other people with security to watch the film because we've got to keep it very tight, very quiet. So come with me. This is going to be a little bit of a different video because I won't be able to show you a lot of the screening, or it's not like the big cinema. It's a smaller independent cinema that you go to for private screenings. And also it's very hot today, as you're used to me telling you. So hopefully I can get in my car afterwards, but if I have to come back to the house to record, that might be the case because it is 36 degrees today. Yep, you can see the conversion. Okay, let's go and see the new Scream movie. I'll be right back. I feel like I need to manifest at this red light. Manifesting good vibes, Scream, good vibes. I don't know what to say. I'm gonna open the door. It's really hot in here. I just got finished watching the new Scream movie, and I'm kind of speechless, to be honest. That was not what I was expecting at all. And you know what? I didn't know what I was meant to be expecting. I don't think any of us knew. But I will say it's very, very different. So, the new Scream movie follows a whole new generation it's quite like number 4, where they have to team up and figure out what is going on and who's killing who. Same Ghostface, different killer, you know, all of that kind of stuff. I don't have to tell you at this point. But the difference with this film is it does not involve Wes Craven at all, who is, you know, is Scream. And without him, this film does feel very different. The setup of the film also is very different because of the way that the new generation is linked to the original generation. And I'm not going to go into too much about plots or people or anything like that. This is keeping spoiler free. But I did think that it caught me off guard, and it wasn't like my favorite way to link everything in. Yes, it was very interesting. This film has a very interesting take on whether it's a requel, a Scream make, what it is. I feel like it's a lot of things blended into one. But what it isn't is a lot like the fourth one, which I thought it was going to be. The fourth film in this entry, I know that I'm going to be talking about the other films, but because this is the fifth film, it's kind of important. I thought this film was going to be a lot more like the fourth film, which is more meta, more tongue-in-cheek, and more fun. But Scream 5 or Scream 2022 is one of the more sad and serious films of the franchise. The film doesn't have a lot of tongue-in-cheek. It isn't a goofy film like the first three are. It's very serious and almost sad at points. This one feels just a lot different. It feels like it's a more serious movie and it's taking the crimes more seriously. For example, Gail doesn't have as many throwaway fun lines as she does usually. It just takes a while, or like just those really fun parts or fun dialogue it's quite broken up throughout the film, which is really interesting. It's also interesting the way that the film, because I mean this is something that we're always talking about now, especially with the new Ghostbusters, how much a film plays into fanfare and how much it plays as a film that you can see as a standalone. And this film, I don't believe you can see it as a standalone. It's part of the franchise, and it's so important that you watch the other ones before you watch this film. Number one, you're going to get the most out of it. Sure, there might be Easter eggs that you only pick up if you have seen the other films, but I actually don't think I can't imagine going into this film and not knowing anything about the other films and even understanding what was going on. And that's really interesting because, like I said, like it's one of those things, like, do you pay all like homage and, do Easter eggs, or do you bring in a new generation and make it a really strong storyline? And I felt like they did confuse that a little bit. And even though it's a new generation where they bring in the new casting, it's very interesting that they didn't give like a solid standalone storyline to them, I don't feel like. So it doesn't really work for a new demographic to come in and for them to be, this is their first Scream movie, and this, it was very interesting that way, because I thought it might do that given its title is just Scream, it's not Scream 5. I have to say, because it wasn't as tongue-in-cheek and as fun as the other ones, it had a very different feel, and I think that's just not having the Wes Craven in it. I mean, it's two different directors, so it's going to be different. Regardless of how you slice it, it's going to be different. But there are some fun things about this. Of course, the homages, the Easter eggs, they're really fun points. They do make a lot of really offhanded stuff that is fun for the audience. The second thing I really liked about it was the soundscape, especially at the start, is freaking awesome. Some of this, like the kill scenes and the sounds they use, it's just epic, and I love that. It really gets you into the mode, and you feel like you're watching a slasher in these movies, which is very rare. Of course, you're watching a slasher in the movies, but you get that kind of retro kind of feel, which I really, really liked. And of course, the last thing that I absolutely loved about this film, and I think it's probably the best that it's done in the franchise, believe it or not, is the brutal kills. The kills in this film are brutal, and it's just because they're so detailed, and I can't explain to you, but they're just done in a very creative and fun way, but just shocking way. Like, my jaw dropped. I was not scared by anything in this film, like Ghostface jumping out and, being around the corner. Sure, it's like tension building, but it's like kind of like fun to see what's going to happen next. But I did not get scared by that. I got shocked by the kills because they're so detailed. With being a newer film, of course, they've got better technology and better graphics to play into that, so they went with that, and I absolutely loved that for it. That was like one of my favorite parts of the whole film. I do want to say that the trailer, they talked about the teaser trailer and how it is misleading. I will say that I agree with that. It's purposely misleading because something that is with all of these films is obviously you never know who the main character is, and you never know who you're really going to follow. I'm not going to touch too much on that, obviously. I haven't for obvious reasons, but I felt like that was surprising, and I felt a little bit of disconnect from the characters, because when you bring in a new generation and you're trying to get the audience to bond to everyone, it's hard to bond with everyone when you know that everyone has a motive and everyone could be a killer. So when you widen that to the whole movie and anyone could be a killer, it's really hard to bond with any of the main characters that you go along with. So it felt a little bit strange in that way. Very interesting. I know that number 4 was kind of like that, but I don't know, I think number 4 did that, executed that a little bit easier. You really got into that friend group fast, and I feel like with this one there was a lot of characters to introduce and to try and understand the little quirks and the differences and the relationships between them was a lot to take in when you're also knowing that there's a killer on the loose instantly. Overall, this film was very different to what I expected. I will say that I feel like I went in with high expectations for sure, but it was just very different and just a lot more serious and sad. I don't know. I felt like I thought there was going to be more fun, especially with the directors from Ready or Not. I thought it was going to be more tongue-in-cheek. I thought it was going to be also a lot more tightly wound. I was very surprised by how not so twisty it was. I don't really want to say too much on that, but I just feel like it wasn't really tight as I hoped it was going to be. And it wasn't as twisty as I hoped it would be. I don't want to say too much. Usually I tell you whether I think you should go to the cinema or wait for this one to stream. Because it is a Scream movie, I believe you should go to the cinema, because how often in your life, I know 5 times now, but do you get to see a Scream movie? I was 6 and 7 when the first 2 came out, so I never got to see them in the cinema, and I was 10 when the other one came out, so I've only got to see this one and the last one in the cinema. So I highly recommend, if you're able to, it's totally worth seeing a Scream movie in the cinema. It's a part of history, and I don't think I realized how much of a Scream fan I was until this past 2 weeks when I've been doing my ranking and watching this film. So yeah, it's a joy and it's an honor to be able to go. And I also, fun fact, I was the only one in that cinema, by the way. So that was a very interesting experience, and very interesting to walk out of there seeing that film and not being able to talk to anyone about it. So hopefully in a couple of days you'll see this, and I can't wait to see and hear what everyone thinks about it. I will say, lower your expectations, go in not so hyped like I was. It is a more serious movie with some really creative kills, and enjoy it for that. I did enjoy the film. I don't think it's a bad film. I enjoyed it, of course, like all of the Scream movies, the first time you see them and trying to figure out who the killer is. It's very exciting stuff, and I think that Ghostface was really quite scary in this one, because of the kills and because he's just so ominous, and yeah, there's just no one like Ghostface. I'm gonna be real with you, I'm going between a 6 and a 7 out of 10. So when I'm editing this, I'll put in my score. I'll have a little bit more time to think on it. For scare though, I'm gonna give it a 7. I thought that the kills were insane. I thought they were so brutal, so much detail, so really look forward to that. And for originality, I'm gonna give it a 5. I hope this video helped you in deciding on when you're gonna see Scream, and I can't wait to hear all of your thoughts. So leave them down in the comments. And don't worry, there's one more Scream video coming right up. It's gonna surprise you. So I'll see you very soon for that. Stay spooky. Bye, friends.